really don't want to do this one. This video is about how I process my emotions whenever I need to cry. Being neurodivergent, I either feel nothing or everything and pretty much nowhere in between. This is one of the songs that I go to whenever I can feel, much like when you shake up a soft drink, you can go to take the lid off and all that pressure explodes. This is what I use when I feel like that. A lot of the time when I know, like, we all know the sensations of what it's like to bottle things up and to have to cry, have to have that release. When it feels overwhelming, when things just feel horrible, you have to have a way of releasing. Crying is one of the fastest ways of regulating your nervous system. Whether you're void from your emotions or you feel things too much, somewhere in between, you need to be able to have something that is a way of regulating that pressure inside. Because if you don't regulate it voluntarily, it'll come out in very unhealthy ways. Maybe you'll be an asshole to people on the street. Maybe you'll be snarky to your kids. Maybe you'll start fights and sabotage your relationship just because you feel dysregulated inside. I know I've done that. And it's okay to admit these things. You're human. And if you're neurodivergent, you have to deal with a nervous system that isn't like neurotypicals, that gets overwhelmed really quick, overstimulated really quick. It's fucking hard. This is one of those ways that I do it. This song, whenever I listen to it, especially since I dove heavily into Carl Jung in 2020, I use it to be able to reflect upon the self. There's things that we consume in all forms of media that consume us back, and that's what this is called, what consumes you. The things that are present inside of this video, inside of this song, it's like when I listen to it, because I'm very visionary, I see myself looking at myself in a mirror. I'm reflecting on parts and grieving on parts that I've left behind, that maybe I haven't integrated. Like doing child work, past relationships, past interactions with family, parents, the way that I've been treated by my ex, all these different things. You never know what's going to happen when layers of the onion start to peel off and you can see them for what they are. This is one of those great songs that you can dive in, you can feel, and you can release. So, I don't want to do this, but let's get into it. This is Evanescence, My Immortal. Already I feel so fucking low. The song, the hauntingly beautiful piano opening it up, it sucks. It's a beautiful song, but it fucking sucks. Alright, gonna pause it there. And if you have to leave, I wish you would just leave. Don't linger. Don't linger. There's so many times in relationships that we hold on for too long. And that's what I think about here. Holding on to failed partnerships, relationships, friendships. Hell, even it comes down to holding on to parents that have done you wrong, that have neglected you, that have abused you. You know, just leave. Ultimately, just leave. Don't hang around. Don't think, oh, I can save him, I can save her. A lot of the time, it's not worth it. Especially if you've faced neglect, especially if you've faced abuse. You're trauma bonded. It's not from a healthy place. You're worth more than that. So just leave. Do yourself a favor. Do your children a favor. Get out. This part of the song, I refer to seeing another version of myself. Your higher self, your daemon, they're looking after you at all times. You know, depending on what your like mythopoetic view is on consciousness, on, you know, God or spirituality, whatever you want to call it. There's other things that are looking after you. I refer to this part here. When you cried, I'd wipe away all of your tears. When you'd scream, I'd fight away all of your fears. This is me looking back on younger versions of myself, knowing that this might sound a bit woo-woo, but because consciousness is non-local, there's an element of the wise old man archetype or the wise old woman, the king queen archetype that is always guiding you, that's always with you. Think of it like the version that you are right now. Future you is looking back on this time and is healing whatever you're going through right now. The same thing comes through being a cycle breaker, like I've spoken a lot about in the podcast, about ending generational trauma, ending cycles of abuse, neglect, pain, violence. Future version of you has already done the work. You might be doing the work now, or you might be ignoring it. You might have already done it. There's a future version of you that's healed, that's integrated, that is looking out for you. From a Greek mythopoetic perspective, the daemon, that is your spiritual guiding force that interacts and puts things in your path for you to grow, learn, and evolve, for you to become who you're meant to become. Carl Jung talks about the thing that you want the most is where you least want to look. All of us need to look into our shadows. All of us need to look into the unconscious, to pain, to dysfunction, to maladaptive coping mechanisms, to negative complexes, negative emotions, to memories of the past that still hold emotional trigger, emotional charge to. That's where the work is. To heal and integrate those parts so that you can look at them and almost have acceptance and gratitude that they happened, because you wouldn't be who you are today and you wouldn't be living the life that you are right now if a previous version of you didn't want it. You manifested everything that's around you. And that might be a bitter pill to swallow. And if it is, let that be a sign of the depth and the charge that's behind your emotions, behind your memories, for you to start transforming. Start deliberately doing some shadow work, to go seek out a coach, a therapist, to do some form of psychology, some perhaps plant medicine if it's in your path, to do breath work, meditation, journaling. There's so many different practices that you could do. But do it. You used to captivate me by your resonating light. Now I'm bound by the life you've left behind. The first thing that comes to mind is previous relationships that ended sourly. My DV relationship with my ex, 10 years ago. 10 years ago that happened. It's hard when you think the person that you're in love with, that is apparently in love with you, that you've had a child with, could hurt you. You turn your back to it. It's not what you want it to be. The map isn't meeting the territory. Often the map rarely meets the territory. The map that we have inside of our head is so low resolution, with so many presupposed things about what we cast onto people, what we cast onto experiences, and go, oh no, it should be like this. Yeah, but it's not. It is what it is, not anything other than it is, because it isn't. Things just are. But it's our mind's way of dealing with things. The way that our mind works is it deletes, distorts, and generalizes information taken in by the five senses. Then it goes into all of your memories, all of your values, your beliefs, complexes, decisions. It goes into everything that was presupposed that moment. And if you haven't done the work and you haven't started exploring anything that I just spoke about, you're living by outdated models of the world. That map that you're referencing things through to be able to see what the territory is giving you is so out of date. It's like trying to use a 1980s Refidex when we have, Google Maps and Apple Maps and stuff like that show satellite view. Things have updated, but your mindset, values, beliefs haven't. You still have all of me. That's, to me, you still have all of me. That's a hard thing to sit with, isn't it? You still have all of me. This part here, I'm thinking, and what comes to mind is the only one that you truly have in this life is yourself. You're the only one who has all of you. It might feel, when you're grieving relationships, cutting out family members, that they still have a big part of you, if not all of you. Maybe your innocence. Maybe they took something from you that's hard to communicate. Maybe they took something from you that's irreplaceable. The job of healing is to be able to move on in spite of what's taken. Is to be able to reclaim the best version of you possible. The objective of healing and becoming who you're meant to be is not so that you don't face more darkness, because there's always going to be more darkness. It's so that you can experience happiness and joy, peace, connection, love, and to be able to receive it and accept it. Life doesn't have to be chaos. And you healing through all that you've been through me healing all I've been through, is so that you can experience and accept the peace, the tranquility, and the beauty that life has to offer. Because life is gorgeous. There is so much beauty in this world. But maybe your perception's altered. Maybe you've got a different set of lenses, glasses that you're viewing the world through, and it's left you bitter. Maybe it's left you void. Maybe you've dissociated so hard into just being ahead, being so associated with your thoughts, but dissociation from reality, that you don't know any other way than what's in your head. I know what it's like to have a lot of poor negative thoughts. Fuck, this is a really heavy video. Sorry, guys. I know what it's like to have ideations. I've never truly been depressed. I always try to make sure that I stay as positive as possible. There's been times where I've been through burnout, had meltdowns and stuff like that. And they've been hard, but they've been phases. I've never truly been depressed. I grieve though. I grieve of innocence lost. I grieve of opportunities missed. The amount of times that I've been overlooked for things. That's what I grieve. I've had this story for God knows how long, and I have to work really hard on keeping it under wraps every single day. That I get overlooked. That I'm not enough. That I'm a failure. That's a constant battle for me. I have to repattern that pretty much every single day, because otherwise it'll overtake me. And it infects everything that I do. It infects my relationships, how I treat my kids, how I treat myself, how I isolate myself from loved ones. I cut off contact from friends. I go quiet. Because there's a part of myself that I feel almost guilty for. That I have a lot of resentment around. And I guess it comes down to having a massive father wound. Well, the majority of us have father wounds. Wounds? Majority of us have father wounds. And, take a look at society. Society is the way that it is right now because it's so broken, because there's so much of a father wound. I love that crescendo, it's not the right word, where the band kicks in, they all come in together. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. It was a little bit foreshadowing. One of the band members, I can't remember which one, left like a month after this video was released, after this single was released. to cry here. Fidgeting, trying to distract myself. But though you're still with me, I've been alone all along. It fucking sucks to be alone. Whilst you might not be alone physically, you might have people around you. To be lonely is one of the worst things that can happen to a human. Hell, look at what's the worst punishment that we do for criminals. We isolate them and they become worse. You lose humanity when you isolate yourself. That's why going through poor mental health, going through, loss and grieving and stuff like that, that's why it's so hard, because you need people around you. Humans are at their best when there's people around you. Isolating yourself, becoming lonely, it starts to fragment how you relate to the outside world. Because if you're stuck in your head, you're better off dead. It's something that an old mentor used to say. And that's what, that mentor, he used to tell me all the time. He's like, don't sit with things in your head. Get them down onto a piece of paper. If they still don't make sense, if it still seems irrational, if it still seems illogical or like too much emotion, or, you're looking through the wrong lens, the wrong abstraction, bring it to him, bring it to someone else so that you can work through it. We need dialogue to be able to help work through things. If you're stuck in your head, it's a really bad place to be. That's why there's so much push around mental health. Like, you're not getting out of this world alive. We're born with a death sentence, but you don't have to suffer. Sure, choose involuntary suffering. Go to the gym, rock climbing, do hard things. Do things that call the best of you forward. But when you're down, depressed, anxious, burnout, meltdown, grieving, loss of life, loss of loved ones, loss of relationships, loss of opportunities, grieve through it with someone, with a professional, with someone who knows how to hold that space for you, who knows how to help you heal. Don't do it alone. Humans are at their best when we're in a collective, in a community, towards a common goal. And honestly, for humanity, it doesn't matter what race you are, what your culture is, your religion, your politics, it doesn't matter. Everyone pretty much wants the same thing. We want to be having some form of success. Good food, healthy air, healthy bodies, clean water, shelter, purpose, meaning, community, connection. Intimacy is a major bonus. And the more distracted, the more divided we become, has bummed you out. Like it's bummed me out. There's something there for you to work through. There's something there that I need to work through right now. I think talking about my father wound, talking about grieving, my inner child sort of thing, I think there's some more work for me to do around that. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to feel in this state anymore. I want to change. You don't need to sit in a negative state. So experiencing emotions and then holding on to them, holding them still, keeping them very close to the chest, that will one day, it might not be today, it'll anchor it into who you are. It'll anchor it into your personality. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's a great, amazing person teaching consciousness, teaching meditation, healing, studying placebo heavily. The thing that he says over and over and over is nerve cells that fire together wire together. So if you're constantly fixated and focusing on the pain, you're holding on to the hurt, the guilt, the shame, the resentment, the fear, just loathing what was, that's going to one day become your personality. And your personality becomes your reality. One day, you'll turn around and go, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know who I am without my mental illness. I don't know who I am without this grief. I don't know who I am because all I am is depression, anxiety, whatever. You've become fully associated with that part and it's consumed you. You can change it though. And you can change your state in the blink of an eye. You can change your state so damn fast that it will spin you around 360, not knowing which way is up and down. It comes down to your body language. So notice how I'm sitting right now, my tone of voice, my lack of eye contact, me fidgeting with shit. That's because I feel poorly. the way that you change this is you change into a more powerful posture. So because I'm sitting, I'm not going to stand up and do it, but I'm going to sit up straight. I'm going to change my gaze and I'm going to speak through a smile. Already I'm starting to notice goosebumps all over my arms. I'm starting to change physiologically. My state's already starting to change. I feel a lot more positive. I feel a lot more optimistic. If anything, I feel a little bit joyful now. And it's as simple as sitting up straight, taking a breath of air, talking through a smile. Your physiology responds to the inputs that it's given. So the inputs are coming from your mind saying, do this, do this, do this, action this, take this step forward, change your posture, change your breathing, change your gaze. A powerful, positive, optimistic outlook is head up, chest up, smile on your face, looking out over the horizon, to be honest. That's how you change. And if you want to go one step further in talking about power postures, adopt Superman behind me. Hands on the shoulders, like Wonder Woman if you're a female. Head up, chest up, and just notice the way that you feel. They've done a bunch of studies on power posing, power postures, and they show that the increase in testosterone is the thing that makes you feel good. Little correlation, testosterone makes effort feel good. So go do something that calls the best of you forward, that allows effort to be experienced. Go to the gym, go running, go to jiu-jitsu, punch a heavy bag, do something that is strenuous, because the raise in testosterone, the raise in cortisol that comes from that will release all these other stress hormones, will release all these other endorphins, and you will change and you'll feel so much better because of it. Movement is medicine. If you're feeling poorly, depression, anxiety, whatever's going on for you, grieving, move your body. Move your body with purpose. Go do something hard. Just go for a walk if you have to. If that's your level of hard, go do that. You want to seek involuntary suffering, so voluntary suffering doesn't. Let me rephrase that. You want to seek voluntary suffering, so involuntary suffering doesn't come and smack you upside the head. You want to seek out the hardest thing that you can fathom in that moment. Learn, adapt, and grow. And seek higher. Always higher. Aim up. Always aim up. So with that, that's where we're going to leave this one. Much love. Take care. And also, guys, drop in the comments things that you want to see me react to in the future. We've had more Sleep Token, obviously, duh. But we've also had Breaking Benjamin. We've had a few others through email as well. So drop them in the comments. Let me know what you want my ramblings over. But that's enough for today. Much love. Take care. Follow me to rise higher. You know what you need to do. Like, comment, share this around, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for all of the awesome things coming out of R.Y.S.E, because we're only just getting started. Thank you so much for being here, watching another video. Much love, take care, and follow me to rise higher.